Greetings everybody, it's Jim. A few weeks ago I came out with a video about the top 10 war games that Columbia Games produces. Well, I'm going to do the same thing with HarnWorld today. There's a few differences, but I think it's going to be very informative today. I'm going to be going over with you the top 25 selling HarnWorld products from 2022 to 2023 from Columbia Games. So yes, this one's going to be a little bit different as it spans 2 years, but it also is not going to include any new HarnWorld product that's been released for the last 2 years, and that's important because the HarnWorld subscription service usually, our writers are going around the year round, and they're coming out with 2 or 3 new articles every single quarter, and the top 25 video would obviously be filled with all that. Now, the top 10 get a little bit more obvious, even though there are a few surprises. But we're going to go down to 25 to really get an idea of what's being bought and what's consistent when new players play the game. I think that's what this is. So we'll go on with it. I just want to remind everybody that the Kingdom of Candé is the latest in hardcovers for the HarnWorld campaign or setting. The link should be down below. Please click it so you can get notified of the launch. And with that being said, let's get on with the top 25. At number 25, starting our list, is the Jain. Now, didn't have to actually do too much research to find out why this little esoteric tribe had made it to the top 25. It's because they are attached, this little barbarian group is attached to 3 other products. One, of course, they're barbarians, so the barbarian book will bring people in and pick this one up, as well as the Avinia Vikings. They are also involved with the Jain. And of course, Vikings being as cool and popular on TV, they're going to get some love there too. And the Kingdom of Ball, they are involved with them as well. We just came out with a Kickstarter of them with a hardback. So with all those 3 powerful books pointing to the Jain, not a surprise that that's number 25. And speaking of which, at number 24 is the Kingdom of Avinia. This one's a recent addition to HarnWorld. It was in 2017 when this got released. So it's definitely because of the love of Vikings right now in TV and everything like that. It has a lot to do with it. And at number 23 is our first generic supplement, Potions. Not really a surprise here because this is always going to be a popular seller for us. Once people get grasped that the writers are really grounded in medieval authenticity, they know our potions are going to be maybe a little bit more serious. Not to call anything, bad or anything like that. It's not the point. It's just that, a lot of the stuff that you get from mainstream Dungeons & Dragons is, of course, going to be effect-oriented and maybe even over the top. Potion's going to be the polar opposite of that. Just real-world application. Sure, some effects, some of it magical. It's just some of it more mundane, but definitely well-written. At number 22 is the Order of the Balm of Joy. Now, this sisterhood is either elbow-deep in blood or knee-deep in mud, as they say. And they are, they're more secular than they are spiritual, but either way, they are definitely dedicated to alleviate the suffering of mankind. And at number 21 is our second generic supplement here, the Inns of Harn. 5 detailed inns for any RPG campaign. They are going to be, as again, grounded as much reality as they can be, whether they are a rundown little inn or one at a dock. This is a supplement that I think every game master should have, and anybody who's read it will definitely agree. At number 20 is Sherwin Castle, and this one's really not a surprise either because this is the first Jarin castle to fall from the Ivinia conquest. And where was it located? In the kingdom of Orbal. And what do we say about all three of those things, right? You got the Harn Barbarians, you have the kingdom of Orbal where they're at, and the Ivinia's coming through. So bam, not a surprise that Sherwin Castle, this big conflict, was in the top 25. And then we have the first of our no duh, it's on your top 25. It's Harndex. Now the difference between Harndex in the last 2 years than previous is because of the fact that we promote kingdoms at first to newer gamers more than Harndex now. We used to say grab Harndex because it's the overview of everything, and of course they read it and they get all into it and then they decide where they want to go. Well, we found out it was much better to get a kingdom book in their hands. As much as this was effective, it's even better to get a kingdom book in their hands so they can start reading it, get into it, and then play it with their friends because they already know what kind of campaign they want to run. We found that every kingdom, of course, has its own niche. Like Meldrin has magic, Avinia, if you like Vikings, etc., etc. So we can already, with one question, direct them to a kingdom. We don't need to direct them to Harndex right away as much. However, it is nice to see that it is right there on the list because this, after you get the first kingdom, this is where people will go. At number 18, we have hunting, which covers things like trapping and rules for stalking prey and such, which makes the game master's job a little bit better rather than just saying, here, make a roll. Of course, it also talks about how to do this for a living, as some people actually, that might be an adventure enough for themselves to try to hunt the big game or whatever, while yet avoiding anything else in the land that might not be considered game, but just plain dangerous. And at number 17 is real estate. Now, this one's a nice one. When I read the idea behind it, if given free reign, characters are generally going to have you hear murder hobos and stuff like that. They're going to have a nomadic lifestyle, but that is actually quite expensive. So real estate, if not just to give the PC something else to track, just has some like, hey, where do you actually live? Because most people would do that. It would only be people in dire circumstances or on the run where they pick a nomadic lifestyle, unless they're a barbarian tribe or what have you. So if you're going to be involved in any kind of, maybe not politics, but if you're just going to be involved in the real medieval lifestyle, you're going to have a place to hang your helmet at the end of the day. And real estate goes over all that, whether you're renting, owning, and whatnot. So that's a really good supplement to have. And I imagine this is bought shortly after people buy Harn Manor, which, as you know, we're going to be getting to on this list. Now, numbers 16 through 14, these are all really close together, and they're all from the same place, Lorani, right? Why is that? That's because I promoted them this way. These are definitely something that I promote all the time, either as a bundle or just all at once. Because why? Well, there's three reasons. One, it's a red cover, really captures your attention. The artwork from Richard Luschek. I use these all the time in other promotions. They show a lot of action, and they're affordable. So with all those three things combined, it's a perfect storm for them to make the top 20. So we have the Lady of Paladins, which is a fighting order at number 16. The Spear of Shattered Sorrow, say that 3 times fast, is a clerical order. And at number 15 and at number 14, we have the Order of the Checkered Shield. At number 13, we have the Earth Masters, which most game masters gravitate to sooner or later because they get so involved in the inner workings of, kingdom versus kingdom and human interaction that sooner or later when they see this, they just say, I gotta have this, because this is a lost people of over 15 to 20,000 years ago. They are the first inhabitants of Harn, and nothing really is known to them. And in contrast to the non-human species, such as the Elven Kingdom of Avail or the Dwarven Kingdom of Azadmir, these Earthmasters are nowhere to be found. So now the Game Master has some really good points of history. Now, are these Earth Masters mundane? Are they very magical based, or are they more science fiction, science fantasy based? Oh, the sky's the limit, and it's all up to the game master. That's why Earth Masters is number 13. And at number 12, we have Herblore, another generic supplement that gets a lot of attention because it's more than, oh, you need this and some mandrake to make a potion. Even though those things are definitely there, they have practical uses beyond potions. Very well written, about 30, 35, I think it's 34 if I wanted to guess the exact number of herbs in this. But this is all you would need for any campaign. It's a beautiful supplement. Now, when you look at Harnic Law, which shows up at number 11, we're going to break into number 10 here in a little bit. But when you see Harnic Law, it's easy to assume this is all just about Harn. Well, actually, I would call this a more generic supplement than just Harnic supplement, because this covers all kinds of different kinds of laws. Because Harn being what it is, it's got everything from your typical feudal law. You would think that would be, and it's true, it's there, all about feudal law, but it's not. It's more. It's also got family law, vendetta law, royal justice, forest law, and of course your basic town and village law. All kinds of things for different kinds of areas which you can easily take and use in any role-playing system. Now, that being said, let's move on to number 10, which is innkeepers. If you don't know what Harn Manor is, this is the Harn Manor of the Inns of Harn, basically. While Harn Manor is a supplement, which we're going to get into here, which is all about running a manor or a castle or whatever, and just everything you need to do that. Innkeepers is more than just a whole bunch of NPCs, right? This is about the Innkeepers Guild as much as is the Entertainers Guild. And, if you don't know what an alewife is or a cellar, that's very important. You'll see that there. Taxes and regulation. Oh, there's so much more. This is about the establishment itself and not the character of the inn. So definitely a reason why Innkeepers is actually another generic supplement that anybody should have. And breaking through the top 10 to make number 9 on the list is HarnWorld Barbarians. Now, they say it's HarnWorld Barbarians. It's really another supplement that can be used just as generics, quite honestly. But the reason why this is number 9 really, I think, has to do with the idea that, barbarians are everywhere in Harn. No matter what kingdom book you pick up, you're going to see, hey, here's a kingdom of barbarians nearby. So what are the game master's going to do? Naturally pick up HarnWorld Barbarians. And next on the list at number 8 is the Pilot's Almanac. Unless the kingdoms that you're warring against are right next to you, or the places you want to go, you're pretty much going to want to go by boat if you have the option. The Pilot's Almanac is maritime and piloting rules. Again, detailed just like maybe Innkeepers, or like we're going to talk about here in a little bit, Harn Manor. Very detailed. I'm talking about supplies, how to run a ship, one of our most popular books out there. Game masters don't get this right away, but they definitely will grab it. It's just a matter of time. So at number 7, we have Harn Master Religion. Now, the only thing I have about Harn Master Religion, because obviously it's got Harn Master in mind, it has ways to make up a clerical character, but it also has extensive detail on the 10 religions of Harn, as well as the rituals and miracles that its practitioners perform, okay? So anybody can really use this book, but it's definitely for people who use Harn Master. Next is the bestiary. Of course, again, a lot of stats in here for Harn Master. It's part of the Harn Master bundle, but at the same time, you can use this with any system, as far as, getting ideas to make your monsters a little bit different You know, I mean, if you're playing Dungeons and Dragons, everybody knows what your skeletons are like, or your undead, or whatever monster. These probably have those same monsters, save a few that are D&D specific. These will have a lot of the same monsters or beasts that you will find in other role playing systems, but they have a different HarnWorld take on it. So that's why the bestiary is still going to be in the top 10 once people catch wind of that. They want to hear what our writers think about some classic monsters. Definitely with the Gargoon, the orcs, definitely is true there. Harn Master Magic. Sooner or later, as a game master, you're going to pick it up. At number 5, Harn Master Magic. Not a surprise here. Especially the idea that, if you want to get into Celtic magic, it has that definite feel. So, of course, that's going to gravitate a lot of people towards this book, whether it says Harn Master or not. So right off the heels of Harn Master Magic comes Arcane Lore. Now, as much as Magic was about giving you all the spells in Harn, Arcane Lore is actually more about the guilds and organizations and the study of all the magical phenomenon that happens within Harn. It's only 10 pages long, so it's also very affordable. So that is why it's in number 4. And at number 3, speaking of guilds, is guilds. Everything that I've been talking about, if you've been hearing it, guilds, innkeeper guilds, wizard guilds, guilds of entertainment, in the guild of inns, everything's got a guild, everything's got a little knit patchwork of people that care passionately about their profession, and there you go. That's why guilds is at number 3. Now, on to the top 2. Now, number 2 is the biggest, not a surprise to me moment, Harn Manor. Why? I mean, I know I promote it like crazy to people. It is just that supplement that you can't find anywhere else that every game master actually is craving. And it's going to be hard to ever top it, whether anybody else comes out with some other attempt at what this is doing. It basically gives you an entire, whether you're making a village or a manor or something like that, it's all the resources for the entire area, whether it be how much grain you have or land you have. And it also has Hallmoots, which is almost a Harnic law. Imagine one of your characters is a nobleman. Well, they got responsibilities, and this covers that. It says, hey, before you go out on your adventure, this happened. And if you're a noble, something's always going down. Oh, we caught this person stealing. What shall we do with them? Right? I mean, it's all kinds of things like that happen in Harn Manor. So whatever level of, your character is, let's say in Dungeons and Dragons, they could be a 15th level character. This keeps them grounded in some form of reality, okay? It's really useful for that, and game masters love it because of its world building, capabilities for them. Because as much as the writers have created Harn, there's plenty for the game master to do as well, and this supplement definitely does it. And it sets you off from getting all the things like innkeepers, all the other guild supplements that I talked about. This is the catalyst for all of that. Number 2, no surprise, Harn Manor. If you haven't gotten it, grab it. Now, I promote Harn Manor a lot to the point where people are willing to just go to the click buy it now button as soon as I'm done talking. But if you are, please take a moment, if I implore you, to check out Harn Quest before you hit that purchase button. Because what Harn Quest is a subscription service for our latest installments of HarnWorld. Our writers give you 2 to 4 extra supplements every quarter, and you also receive 50% off of all PDF purchases. So what's that mean? It's $19.99 to join Harn Quest. You turn your $39.98 purchase into a $20 purchase. You end up spending the exact same amount you would have, and now you also have the latest 2 to 4 installments of Harn for practically free. It is so worth it. Please consider it before you hit that buy it now button. Now, when I seen Harn Master was #1, I gotta say I was actually quite surprised by that. Now, you might be surprised by my surprise, right? After all, Jim, Harn Master's Columbia Games' system. Why wouldn't it be #1? Well, there's a reason for that, and that reason is we don't actively promote it. I don't actively promote it. And there's been a long-standing reason for that. See, the thing is, when Harn Master first came out, sales are really good for Columbia Games. But then they dropped when Harn Master came out. Not because people didn't love the system, but people assumed that you had to use the system. So it was harder to get new players because they wanted to play Dungeons and Dragons. They say, oh, that's Harn Master, so HarnWorld, I can't use that stuff. One of the things that you'll hear me say all the time is when talking about Harn, it's system agnostic. Every Kickstarter, system agnostic. Want to play D&D? Not a problem. Pathfinder? Go for it. The Fantasy Trip? Have at it. It's all system agnostic. No problem whatsoever. So yeah, we don't promote it like that. However, it made its way into the top for the last 2 years. Why is that? It's probably another gravitational pull. When the Game Master sees a detailed world such as HarnWorld that they end up falling in love with, that they keep buying product after product for, and they love it so much they understand the economical wisdom of joining Harn Quest and all that, it's natural for them to be curious at the very least what Harn Master is all about. You know, is it got the same level of detail? The answer is yes, it does. It's a little crunchier than other systems, but it's the difference between finding a whole bunch of goblins and saying, they're a bunch of hit points, to being a very memorable battle where everybody remembers the battle because, well, that one little bugger got my character's calf, and then not only did it take 2 weeks to heal, it actually got infected, and I was laid up for 3 months. I mean, it's the little details like that in Harn Master that really set it apart from others. The combat systems definitely feels like one-on-one combat. You feel like you're in the fight. You're picking where your shield's at, where you're swiping to. You're not just rolling dice to hit. You are making active tactical decisions. Definitely, Harn Master, if you're curious, is something worth getting, and that is why that is #1 on Columbia Games' list for the last 2 years. Thank you very much for watching this video, everybody. Again, watch out for the Kingdom of Canday Kickstarter coming out very soon, and I'll see you next video.